The rise of ESG demands change from the global investment sector. Growing client demand, greater regulatory scrutiny, new reporting requirements, and the increased recognition of the financial materiality of ESG factors have driven responsible investment into the mainstream. The market has evolved. So too must the companies and individuals working within it. For investment organisations, keeping pace with this change means that ESG expertise can no longer be confined to specialist teams. Today, all investment professionals must be fluent in the language of ESG. Whether you're an asset manager, owner, or service provider, addressing this ESG skills gap requires high-quality, efficient, responsible investment training with content and delivery you can trust. As a part of the United Nations-supported Principles for Responsible Investment, the PRI Academy is uniquely positioned to train your people. With an international network of over 5,000 investor signatories, together representing over $120 trillion under management, the PRI sets globally accepted best practice in responsible investment. Leveraging the PRI's unique expertise and global industry perspective, the PRI Academy's short, practical, and applied training courses provide you and your teams with a common ESG language and readily applicable frameworks for responsible investment practice. Practical and applied ESG training from the world's leading proponents of responsible investment.
Please take your seats. The event is about to begin. S'il vous plaît, prendre vos places. L'événement est sur le point de commencer.
It's my pleasure to welcome you all to PRI in person. My sincere thanks to the Ogimaa-kwe singers for joining us today and opening our event. Weren't they just magnificent? Now, we acknowledge that PRI in Person 2024, hosted at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre and the Royal Ontario Museum, is taking place on the treaty land of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and ancestral lands of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy and the Anishinaabe Nations since time memorial today. It's my honour now to introduce Ogimaa-kwe, Claire Sault, Chief of the Mississaugas of the Credit Nation, to share some words of welcome with us today. Please welcome Claire. Stand beside you.
Miigwech, David. I love our drum and I love our drummers. It brings oneness in spirit to me. So ani, Ogimaa-kwe Indigenous, Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, Dunjiba, Magisi-dorum, Mississauga Ndial. Good afternoon to you all. I'm the Ogimaa-kwe, Chief of the Mississaugas. We are the treaty holders of the territory, the only First Nation in our territory that has proper land surrender treaties with the Crown. We acknowledge the presence of other First Nations who have used the lands within our territory in the past and who continue to use the lands today. Our territory has been home to other First Nations, Inuit and Métis, since time immemorial. Our ancestral worldview was and still is to live in harmony with our natural world, respect the life and energy inherent in creation, including humankind, because there is nothing on the planet that will equal us. Our oneness with nature is critical, as it means so much more to us in our language. It means that we daily have to consider the whole picture when it comes to our pursuit of wealth. It's a high priority for my First Nation to keep these values in perspective. I'm honored to join you today for this Principles for a Responsible Investment Conference. There is an unquestionable need for environmental, social, and governance structures to remain ethical and sustainable when it comes to investing. The world is moving at a fast pace, and ESG is now an integral part of good corporate governance. Many trends are emerging, and we need people like all of you who are desirous to help solving longer-term issues before they become generational problems. Within our First Nation culture, we're taught about 7 generations teachings and to incorporate those teachings into our policies. And we try our best to operate within those principles of those teachings. Whoever we do business with, I make it a point to ensure our nation's ethos is understood. More importantly, that investing and planning has to be done with sustainable, economical, and environmentally sound strategies. We have to live with our decisions we make today that will affect our long-term future. And realistically, my brain thinks about 3 generations out most of the time. But I'm cognizant of this daily as a leader. We have a moral and ethical compass that alerts all of us when we are out of touch with our own ethos and compromise what we know to be right. As the Ogimaa-kwe of my First Nation, I believe we are all stewards of our lands and resources. It's important to me that we work with partners like you who acknowledge Indigenous peoples' inherent right to self-governance, support processes and agreements that reflect this authority and the role of Indigenous peoples as stewards of the lands. I'll end with this. Our ancestral worldview was to live in harmony with our natural world, respect the life and energy inherent in creation, including humankind, and again, because there is nothing on the planet that will equal us. And it's up to all of us to operate within the structures of our chosen careers to step up with a consciousness of our decisions that will bring prosperity within the ethics and governance structure that we all agreed to operate in. Again, it's my pleasure to join you today, and on behalf of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, I warmly welcome you to our territory, and I want to say a special, very special and warm welcome to our international visitors. I hope that you enjoy this place that we still call home. Miigwech.
Please give it up again for Ogimaa-kwe Claire Sault, the Chief of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 16th annual PRI in person in Toronto, back in Canada for the first time in a decade. Yeah, go ahead. How is everybody doing today? What's our energy level? Give it to me. How are we? All right, for climate warriors, we're going to need a lot, right? We're going to need a lot of strength from you, but pace yourself. We do have to spread this over 3 days. My name is Amber Kanwar, and I am so thrilled to be your MC over the next 3 days. If you don't know me, I am a senior anchor at BNN Bloomberg, where I host a TV show about the markets. I write a markets newsletter at Bay Street Amber on Substack, and I wouldn't really be a good millennial, if I didn't tell you. You can find me on X and Instagram at Bay Street Amber. But enough with the shameless self-promotion. I'm also a mother. I'm a mother to 3 children. And they were kind of upset that I was going to be here today because I'm not home for dinner. Isn't that cute? So I gathered them around yesterday and I talked to them about why I won't be here for dinner. That I'm going to get together with a group of people who care and want to feel responsible for the shape that our world is in, that they're going to inherit. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think the 3-year-old got it. But my 7-year-old, I could tell. I still had her captured. And I asked, what does it mean to be responsible for the environment? And she said, because if we don't, maybe the world will crack open and will die. A little dramatic. Gives you a sense of what I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis, but she gets the stakes. Now for her, that means don't be a litter bug. You know, you got to pick up your litter, and that's how we can solve the world's problems. We in this room know it's going to take a lot more than that. And the principles that many of you are here to uphold and fight for are not a toy that we can play with and then cast aside. As a financial journalist, I've seen ESG rise to the most important issue for every single investor, to that toy that we no longer play with and put in the corner. Except it's not a toy, it's science. And we ignore science at our own peril. And that's what we're here today for. So give yourself a round of applause for being part of that mission. We aim for you to leave here after the next 3 days with 3 real-world abilities. The PRI in person aims to help you generate real-world outcomes. We're not here to just think about it. We're here to do something about it. And we know that isn't easy. There are challenges, some practical, some ideological. And so we want to help you overcome those obstacles and those challenges. We also want to make you connections. We're not in this alone. As I say to my kids, teamwork makes the... There you go, you know it. So the team have a full agenda and very exciting things planned for you. The best place to get kept up with all of that, because there are so many of you, by the way, 1,700 people in this room online. That is a total attendance of 2,000 people. So it's really nice to see how many people came out, care, want to put this as part of their mission. If you want to keep up with that, download the app, PRI in person in the App Store or any Android Play Store, and the password is ClearBridge 2024. Make sure you turn on those notifications because that's how you can keep up to date on any changes. You never know what's going to happen, any last minute speakers that might come in. We also want you to participate. We're not here to talk at you. We want you to be part of this, and there will be opportunities for you to do that, including with some of our keynote speakers. In the app, there is a Q&A and polls tab. You can access Slido and engage with that content. Upstairs, I believe, if you're having any troubleshooting issues, there is a stand just dedicated for you. Tech support, app support, you can go up there, and the team will be more than happy to help you out. So what do you say? Should we get this show started?